when video games were really video games.
Oh, by the way, speaking of video games, totally not really DJ related whatsoever.
Of course not.
This is a segue. I'm going to see if I can segue this. I received the Super Nintendo Classic.
Okay.
There is, you've heard of this little company called Amazon, right?
Yeah, they sell like teapots or something, right?
Yeah, it's a startup. I don't think they're going to go anywhere. I think it's a hard name. It's just, you're not going to be able to go anywhere with it. Anyway, Amazon has a service called Prime Now, which delivers within 2 hours. And last year they had the classic NES system, and it was, I don't know, $80-$90 or something like that. But then they would deliver it in 2 hours. So I bought one for me and I bought one for my brother-in-law. Well, flash forward to this year, I wasn't really thinking too much about it. And I got a message from my brother-in-law saying, hey, they've got these on Prime Now again. You got to scoop it up if you want one. So the impulsive person that I am, who loves gadgets and gizmos, was like, I have to purchase this. So I jumped on my phone and purchased it real fast. And then it was delivered, and I hooked it up, and I played a quick round of Contra 3 as well as Super Mario World. And after that 12 minutes, I was like, I really don't like this at all. I really did not enjoy it one iota. So I was able to find somebody local who, when the Note 8, the Samsung Note 8, I don't know, Dan, are you an iPhone guy, or are you you're a Mac guy?
No, just
an iPhone?
Phone and iPad. Yeah.
Okay, that's okay. That's all right. He got a Note 8, and when you purchased a Note 8, you got some freebies with it because Samsung was trying to win back everybody from the whole Note 7 debacle that happened, that I was a part of. And he had a Gear 360, like one of the new Gear 360s. So I just even traded him, because this is like a $165 360 camera. And I only paid $80 for it, because I only paid $80 for the whatchamacallit, the Super Nintendo thingamajiggery. So yeah, so there you go. There's my transition, because part of what we're talking about tonight is 2018. And this is something that I'm going to be using in 2018 quite a bit, to take room shots and do some more interesting video shots. And I try to do a live video before every one of my events. So I'm going to start incorporating this little sucker into it and do something a little bit different than the norm, which is what I try to do with everything.
You know, I'd be curious. Let's go ahead and just start talking. People are jumping in, people are jumping out, and guys, if you want me to unmute you, I think you can unmute yourself. But if you need me to unmute you, I've got the chat open, so feel free to say, hey, can you do something for us? And if you just want to put it, make sure you in the bottom of the chat, you see 2, and then it should have like everyone. And if it doesn't, click that drop down arrow, and then make sure it's on everyone, so that just everybody sees it. Because if you send it to me privately, it plays craziness with my clicker. But anyway, so this camera, you're gonna take a 360 shot. All right. What do you do with it? Because I heard an awesome idea this past summer, and I want to see if it's similar to your plan. And if not, I'm going to tell you what this guy does, because I think it's
okay. It's probably not going to be what your buddy does, or whoever you heard it from, because I'm not that cool. I don't think of amazing ideas. I want to say that my idea is a solid maybe 7.5 on the scale of epicness. My first intention, so my first plan is I'm definitely going to be using it for my live videos. That first and foremost is what I'm going to be using it for at every single event. Now, after that, and on top of it, I'm going to be using it because when you do live, even though it records in 4K, this does go up to 4K. It doesn't actually stream it live via 4K. There's just no way that it can process that much information and have it still look good. It's a decent picture, but it's not 4K good. So it's got a built-in micro SD card. And what I'm planning on doing is throughout the night, like right after I get done setting up, once I get all of my lighting set up and my systems, and when the photographers come through and they do the normal, hey, everybody get out of here. We're going to do room shots, shot. What I'm going to do is take it and kind of follow behind them. And when they take their normal photos, I'm going to start doing like full 360 photos of the rooms that I'm in as they're prepared. Here in Indianapolis, there are venues that I really, really, really want to work at more than other venues. So for those venues, I'll be sharing those 360 photos with them. So what they can do is then use that 360 photo and demo it and show their prospective clients. Oh, hey, this is the way the room looked, and then they can pull up the photo, and then they can scan around it and do whatever they want to, and show them what's going on with it. I'll probably do some video with it as well, especially once it gets to the dancing portion. I think it would be really, really neat to just kind of pop it out in the center of the dance floor and let them go crazy with it. It's pretty durable, so I don't think I'm going to give it to every drunk bridesmaid that comes my way, but I am going to hand it out to a few different folks. It does have your little screw point, so
Okay.
if you have like an extendable stick or whatnot, you can take it all the way out there and get some good photos and all of that good stuff. So those are the two ideas that I'm toying around with, Dan. But what is the really good idea that I have not mentioned yet?
So first off, I want to say I am extremely jealous of the fact that you have a room where you don't have people in almost immediately. So I shouldn't say I'm 100% jealous. I'm jealous of the fact that you can do that, because the room that when I go in, it is I get my stuff set up, and I really don't have much time, because as soon as I'm done, usually they're cocktail time. Even if I might get there early, obviously, and I have that kind of time, but as soon as the guest starts arriving, they're in that room. So very few times do we have photographers getting that room shot that you were talking about,
Okay.
because by the time the photographers are there, it's a room full of people that they're not going to kick out. But kind of what you had is probably the first of the two steps that I heard from this gentleman in Atlantic City. I think it was Donnie Lewis, if I remember correctly. Donnie, don't hate me, but you had an awesome deal, so I'm going to steal it. But anyway, so he was sharing it with everybody, this idea of exactly what you had of taking that 360 shot. And one of the things he does is he gives this to the venue so that they can use for their sales. Of course, has it stamped with his logo on it and everything else, so that when they show it, it gives him plugs as well. But in addition to that, what he does for client meets is when he has the meetings, he hands them a pair of VR glasses, and he puts it in just like a cheap phone that he had. So if they want to get an idea, especially for upsales, if they want to get an idea of what it's going to look like with uplighting, with the special moving headlights, with the projection monograms, with cake mapping, I mean, he does all this great stuff. He basically says, here, put it on, take a look at your venue.
Yeah.
And I mean, when you're in the venue looking at what it's really going to look like with color and all this, I mean, it's leaps and bounds above what you would ever think with just, here, look on my little screen of my iPad, or, look on your computer and scroll. It takes it infinitely higher, I think, in just the appeal.
I need to find a better cheap phone and then buy a pair of VR glasses.
I mean, he said, if I remember correctly, I mean, he said the phone that he bought, it was bought used. It has no cell service to it. It has nothing like that. It's just to be able to run the VR. And I think he did $150 for it, $200, because it was just for that. So it's not,
yeah,
you're not paying the full price for a $600-700 phone, because you don't need to do all the extra stuff.
Yeah. Man,
that's a neat idea.
My wife's not going to be happy.
Dan's fault.
Yep, I'm going to throw this one back on you, Dan. When
that's all right.
I come home wearing goggles and I'm like, it's like I'm really at my house. And she's like, no, you're in our living room. Take them off. Put the camera down. But it felt like I was there.
But here's what you do. Next time you make a mess, first off, you take a picture of the house when it's all nice and clean and pretty.
Oh, sure.
And then when there's a mess that you just can't clean up, or your kids made the mess and you just don't want to have to deal with it, you'd be like, honey, just relax for a second, close your eyes, discreetly put them on her, and then say, okay, honey, open them. Everything's fine again. She won't know.
How do you discreetly place a pair of VR goggles onto your wife?
I haven't done it yet, so I'm hoping you can figure it out and let me know.
You figure that part out, man. And I think there's a new show for DJNTV called How to Get Away with Anything with Dan Carpenter. No, I love that idea. I really need to get the VR, because I know it would probably be weird for them to be for me to say, hey, why don't you put these goggles on and then I'm going to show you your venue or whatnot. But it's one of those things where I think a lot of, especially entertainers and DJs, part of what we sell is the experience. And that's just one additional tool that we can use to say, I know it's going to sound silly. I know it's going to be weird. And I know that, you're not too excited about it right now. Your future husband probably is getting really giddy about the fact that he's going to put VR goggles on, but you're not too excited about it. But when you actually do, and then they're sitting there and they're able to look around, and it's that next layer, that next level of experience, and it's worth it to me. And I know for a fact that not very many people do it. I mean, you told me about the one guy who's doing it, and it's hopefully is working for him. It's just one of those things that is always evolving and always changing, and I'll change and evolve with it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think it's one of those things. First off, it can set you apart because, I'm able to show you your venue in a way that you've never probably seen it unless you've happened to have been to an event that was similar.
Yeah.
And I think if it's presented in the idea of basically, hey, I want to share this with you, or, hey, you're at such and such. Okay, this is great. I'd like you to show you something that could work for your room. And it works, kind of basically however you would do your normal sale of, or your normal pitch, if you will, for lack of better terms, to share that about the room with your pictures. It would be that kind of same idea, just now in VR form. I'm making speculation. One of the hardest things I know that I run into is showing that upsale, because while uplighting has become a little bit more frequent, I still find it a very hard sale, because a lot of them have been to these venues and they're like, the venue's beautiful. I don't want to add anything to it. I like the way it looks. Or, I was there for so-and-so's wedding and it turned out beautiful and they didn't have uplighting. I don't need uplighting. It becomes a hard sale. I can show them pictures, and I can even show pictures of the same venue, but they just don't see it the same way, I think, as if they're immersed in it, whether it be realistically there or whether it's virtually there.
Are you not to totally change subjects?
No, let's go for it. I don't care.
About venues and how a lot of brides are infatuated, or not infatuated, in love. I'm just going to use the word in love with the way that it's all laid out and the colors that they have and the design that it is. Are you seeing any kind of a upward trend in more blank slate venues? Because I'm noticing that more here in Indy.
No, because if anything, I'm finding kind of the flip of that. I'm finding a lot of I don't want to say pre-done. Venues that are looking to set themselves apart with the way that they look.
Okay.
Whether it be exterior or whether it be interior. I'm in the middle of the country. I mean, for the most part, we've got the city, quote unquote, of Williamsport. But majority of my venues are standalone buildings that are a lot of conversion barns. The typical venue-esque type of wall where you'd have a nice drywall and you'd have a nice enclosed place that you could use. You could use lighting without it having like 8,000, windows on you and everything else, are attached to a couple of our hotels, and they're not exactly getting the best customer service coming from them. Okay. So people are a little more hesitant to use them. They're rushing to these barns, some because it's rustic and some because these barns are very high end and doing things the right way. So it's, again, a different feel, but it's not, I'm not getting the blank slate like I would like in some aspects to be able to do more with it.
It might just be because I'm so close to Indianapolis. The last probably 2 years, I'm seeing more and more industrial-esque type of a feel for venues popping up. And then the last 8 to 10 months, I'm seeing even more like they're promoting themselves as, we are a blank slate venue. We will provide the space. Everything that goes inside is up to you. Sure. Whatever you want to put in there, go to town, have fun with it. But we're not providing more than we have to. Now, the other thing that I'm noticing about these venues is they're local in the sense of they are in Indianapolis, but they started in California, and now they're making their way towards the East Coast. So they're just it's almost like a multi-op, where it's like a nationwide multi-op where they're just kind of popping up different affiliates here and there. But they're going for that same type of a feel. Oh yeah, no, we're with this larger conglomerate, but we're local because we have this venue that is in the city, so to speak.
Sure.
I don't know if it's going to be a big thing for 2018. I don't know if it's going to be something that is going to pick up a lot of steam. Personally, I'm totally okay with it because now it's one less thing that I have to try to compete with. If somebody goes there and they're like, oh, they do uplighting and you do uplighting, but they're going to give it to me for free. They don't realize that it's 4 lights versus 28 that I bring. And all of that stuff in between. But who knows, man? Who knows? 2018.
Are you noticing a lot of renovations with those places, or are they actually pure from startup rather?
No, they're coming in, they're buying old warehouses, they're buying old, just any, big loft areas. And instead of dedicating more time and energy and money into, we're going to put in a sound system, we're going to put in lighting, we're going to put in whatever we might want to put in there, they're taking the approach of, we've got the space, and the space is normally the number one thing that the bride wants.
Sure.
Just like when they're hiring the DJ, normally it's not about what type of speaker they use or what type of microphones they use or anything like that. It's more based on personality than anything else. At least that's my experience. Is they're looking for somebody who's going to represent them, and in turn, they want to make sure that they have that right person. So I think they're going for just that visual of, oh, we're at this space and we're at this location. You look out this window and you get to see a giant landmark, and we have the foundational piece for your Lego construction. You can't build the rest of it until you have that first piece, and they are that first piece. And they're just not monopolizing, but they're grabbing it and they're running with it. And they're saying, okay, fine. Instead of doing one venue and putting a crap ton of money, we're going to buy 5 venues and do them basic, and then let everybody else come in and take care of it how the bride actually wants it to be done.
Well, we talked about 2018, and I guess, we'll use that as a perfect segue.
Segue!
Yeah. And not the kind we're going to catch on fire. But I got this from bridaltweet.com. So one of the things that they were talking about, is what are some of the trends that people are seeing, some of the trends the different vendors are seeing. And one of the things that they're saying is that couples are wanting to take more control over their wedding.
Mm-hmm.
Not just everything from like the ceremony aspect of what's being said and that kind of thing, but also the look and not necessarily do it yourself like what we would see maybe in last year and the years before, where it was very much, I'm going to make all my centerpieces and put them out. They would spend for everything else, but they would make their centerpieces. But more of, I'm going to determine how it looks. I may buy everything, but I'm going to determine how it looks. And so kind of seeing more of a trend towards that, which I think would be, a very interesting and hopeful, that things work out well for us in that aspect, because it allows it to be more personalized, and it also opens them up to you sharing a way for them to be more personalized, and we can tweak this and we can offer this and we can make it, unique for your guests, because they're not going to see this at 12,000 other places.
Yep.
So.
No, I agree. I guess to kind of tag on to that a little bit more, I don't feel that control is really what the brides are looking for or what they're desiring. But I think more and more brides have a very specific vision. And in times past, they've gotten complacent in the, well, if I'm in this venue, then it has to be this way. Or if these are the key adjectives that describe how I want my wedding to be, then it has to go a specific way. And I'm noticing more, and it's even happened in 2017, that brides are just becoming very independent and very direct with, this is how I want it to be, and this is how I don't want it to be. And as long as they communicate that to me, I'm happy-go-lucky. I will do whatever I possibly can to make sure that their vision and their wedding goes off without a hitch. And even outside of the wedding world as well, but for the sake of our conversation, brides, for all intents and purposes. So saying that, it's 2018. I was talking to somebody, early last week about just if I thought that there was possibly a recession coming around the corner and people getting, tighter about their money and their finances and whatnot. And I really don't. I just think people are becoming very specific about what they want to spend their money on. The last couple of years, there's been an election. It has changed how people view our government and how they view their jobs. I don't know if you guys have ever noticed this before, but after every election, there's normally a weird little thing with weddings where the amount of money that people are eager to spend goes down exponentially. But then as year 2 and year 3 of their term goes through, they gradually let go of that money a little bit more. And by the time you get to year 4, that hand starts so it's kind of like year 1 is tight, 2 and 3, 4 and 1, 2 and 3, and they just have this weird heartbeat thing going on. And I think that we're in that process. I think we're in that 2-3 period where they're starting to open up a little bit more. And because they're able to open up a little bit more, they're also able to follow their vision and follow their dream of this is what I want to ride in on a unicorn that's covered in sparkles and it's going to drop me off at the altar. And then I'm going to have the Power Rangers are going to be my best men and it's going to be fantastic. And I'm sure. All right. My job is to mic you guys up. So let me just focus on that and we'll be fine with it. But no, I think 2018, for me, in my honest opinion, I think you're going to see a lot more creativity. I think you're going to see a lot of brides and a lot of grooms saying, I don't want people to just remember, oh, there was a wedding there. I want them to remember this was my wedding. And then this is what we did. I had a conversation with a couple, 2 months ago or so, and they're getting married at a barn that I work at least 4 times a year. It's a very beautiful barn. It's very simplistic. It's kind of difficult to work in just because of the way that it's laid out and how we have to lug in a whole bunch of stuff. But they had their vision. They came in and they knew right off the bat, these are certain things that we want. I want to bust through a paper entrance. I want to have the Chicago Bulls feel. I want people to be standing on their feet as people are walking. That's the atmosphere that they wanted to create. And I'm seeing that more and more as 2017 is coming to a close and we're getting into 2018. I think you're going to see the internet start showing a lot more of that creativity type of stuff. 2018, a lot more of that creativity. 2017, for some reason, I don't remember a lot of like really creative weddings. I remember seeing a lot of elegant and beautiful, which is nice, but I don't remember seeing a lot of, very, very creative, very unique, outside the box thinking type weddings.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. John, I don't know. I mean, were you seeing anything or are you seeing anything kind of similar to what Jared's saying with the going forward?
No, I the last part that he talked about where it was basically just nice, but it wasn't anything new or different. That's what I was seeing a lot is basically people are like, yeah, we just want to have a nice day. We want to do this and go forward and such. So I didn't see there wasn't much customizing, truthfully, this year. I did fewer wedding party introductions this year, as an example, because I do a variety of different things or have different possibilities. There were some weddings I didn't even do a wedding party introduction. I think I did 2 extended or more where I was doing a song for the couple or for the person, a little song clip, and then telling the story about them. I didn't do any video version this year, whereas the year before, 2016, I had 3 weddings that we did video clips where they took video clips of that person and different aspects of it, and I used that in telling a story about the person. Just this year was to a point. It was almost that they wanted it simpler on their part. They didn't want to have to go and get more pictures or video clips or this or that or the other thing for their day. So it was as Jared's talking about, what he's seeing for 2018. It's like, wow, I wonder if that's going to be 2019 for me, kind of a situation. I don't know.
I would say I did notice that they were a little bit more open to being emotional, though.
Yes.
So while they weren't maybe necessarily on the creative, so for example, one of the things I like to do, and I recommend this to anybody, is if you get a chance to shadow another DJ, I don't care if you have to drive hours or hours, it's worth it. So I got an opportunity to do that. It was a year ago this past November. Went up to Mark. Oh crap! I'm going to say Mark B. He's up in Lake George. Really great guy. Anyway, got a chance to shadow him, and one of the things that he does that he encouraged me to start picking up on was kind of similar to what you said, with the idea of getting some clips, getting some audio, but it was more about the bride and groom doing it for each other, or them doing it in reference to their parents, and then overlaying that going into the song. So it was, they could say something to them, and it added that extra tearjerker moment.
Yeah.
They all love the idea until I mentioned about them recording their voice. They had no problem writing something about what their parent meant to them. They had no problem writing something down for me to say, but they didn't want to take kind of that extra piece. And I don't think they were being lazy. I just think they didn't feel that comfort level quite the same way.
Sure.
But they were all jumping on board this idea of, hey, if you're able to read it and you're wanting to do it, let's go for it, because they love the idea. And I had a lot of them, come to me afterwards and were just like, yeah, that, I had one photographer who said, I was holding it together the whole day and everything else, all these emotional moments, and then I lost it during the parent dances. And I would just secretly went, yes. So yeah, I couldn't help it. Yeah, I was proud of the fact that I made the photographer cry happy tears. So
would you say 2017 was the year of the open-minded introverts? Like, they were open to new ideas. They were open to trying different things, but they didn't really want to do it. They were okay applying the idea, but it was really only if it brought somebody else in to the picture in some form or fashion.
Mm-hmm.
That's really good, Dan, because I didn't think about when I'm looking back on my 2017, great 2017, mind you, great year. But I did notice that a lot of the outside the box thinking involved the bridal party, involved mom and dad, involved grandparents that couldn't be there. And there was a couple weddings where it involved the bride and groom specifically, but even then they were just more laid back, just, we'll be there, we'll be a part of it, but we don't really want to be the center of it. I think the biggest quote from 2017 was, "We don't like being the center of attention." I think I heard that more than anything else from every couple.
Which makes it really hard to be, because I'll be honest, that was my selling point for the longest time. I'm not the guy who, because for a while there was, the blow up instruments and the crazy hats. And I know some guys that still do it and do it well, mind you, but some couples would view that as cheesy or corny, whatever you want to say. And so my selling point for the longest time was, I'm not that type of guy. I don't need my 15 minutes of fame. It's your day, and that's where the focus is going to be. And then you have couples who go, I don't want that. Like, I don't want to be the focus of the day. In my head, I'm like, well, then don't do a reception. But that's just kind of my thought there. Hey, John,
just being the center of attention, but I'm going to invite the 575 closest friends and family members that I have.
Yes,
exactly. John, just a little note here. We apparently either need to end in 10 minutes or figure out a way to keep this going, because I've got 10 minutes left of the meeting, it said.
Oh, really? That's funny.
So,
I don't think I've ever seen one that had given me that.
You have the pro version and I don't.
No, you do. Oh, you maybe don't. You should have. Because
I don't.
Oh, I bet
that's why I say upgrade to pro or stay with free. And if I stay with free, it's going to end in 10 minutes.
Oh, okay. So yeah, that was my bad. You should have, if you'd have logged in via that, the system sent an email out, and if you'd have clicked and logged in that way, that would have done it. So I see that. I see now it's got a timer in the corner countdown on this.
Dun, 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 dun.
See, we're learning. Now
we are. It's all a process. So we'll figure out, I guess, can I start a second one? Would that work?
Yeah, we'll just wrap it up here in 10 minutes.
Okay.
Jared's probably got to go order pizza or something. And
So one question, I guess, if we can wrap it up, and do you
It's
see?
9:32. I just got done with dinner. That's not what us Indianapolis
Wait a minute.
do. Just randomly order pizza throughout the night.
Somebody else who's on the right time zone. Yes. Okay.
Yeah, all these other guys in Central and whatever else Pacific, and they're like, "Hey, let's get together at like I don't know, midnight Eastern." I'm like, really? Come on, man. I got stuff going on. Anyway, sorry, I interrupted you.
Well, I was going to say, in the short time that we have left, think to next year, since we say we're going to focus on 2018.
Yes.
I'm going to switch gear for just a moment. What do you think, DJ wise, is going to be the biggest trend we might see from equipment? NAMM is coming up, so we don't really know too much. I'm going to assume John may have some insider information, but do you foresee anything maybe jumping out at you from the mobile side, equipment wise?
Equipment?
Yeah.
Right now.
Or gadget wise, gear wise.
He might be more into the gadget. He might have more feel on that.
I'll start with gear. I'll start with gear. For the first time when I was at What an NBA this year, 2017, I saw I think it's the Eternal, I don't know what the heck they're called, but they're like vertical sparklers that shoot up sparks going up and down. Tagging back to what we were talking about before, where I'm thinking 2018, people are more excited about doing stuff that's a little bit more exuberant. If 2017 was the year for the introverts, and I think 2018 might be more of an extroverted type of a year. But I'm starting to feel the brides, so to speak. That was a horrible sentence. Don't pass that along to anybody. I'm starting
just going to cut that out and send it to your wife.
This isn't live, right? This is all edited. Let's just try that all over again. No, I've started to kind of see if that is something that is exciting to them. And the few times that I've brought it up for the clients that I thought would work well, they've been very excited about that idea. One, because you don't see it too much. It's still relatively new. And two, it's going to add that flair, no pun intended, but it's going to add that flair that a lot of them are wanting. They want that thing that nobody has seen before. So if you picture 2 or 4 of those on either side of a grand entrance, and then when you get to the point where the bride and groom are coming in through the doors, and then all of a sudden these 4 vertical, sparklers start just shooting off, I see that being a big gear item, something that's easy to bring in, something that's easy to set up, something that is safe to use, and then have that element that you're looking for. As far as gadgets and gizmos, I'm kind of staying with the cameras. I'm staying with the 360 camera. I think 2017 was the introduction to the 360 camera and live world. I think 2018 you're going to see a bigger push for 360. The simplistic photo, the one-dimensional imagery, if you will, is still going to be popular. As of right now, you're never going to beat the square cropped 1x1 on Instagram. That's still the most popular photo imagery that is online. But as Facebook evolves and as Instagram evolves, Facebook is becoming much more of a contender. It's becoming, even probably for John and DJNTV, where John, have you set up a channel, like a watch channel on Facebook yet?
A watch channel? I'm not sure.
Yeah. So Facebook it's basically their own integrated TV programming.
No,
I'm using TV as loosely as possible, but think of it as YouTube on Facebook, where you set up a channel and then you can do live stuff on there. You can put your videos out on there and all that good stuff. I think monetization is also available. You're gonna be able to monetize on that. But for 2018, I do think you're gonna see, gadget-wise, the 360 cameras, the 360 live videos, the 360 recorded videos, what you were talking about earlier, Dan, with the VR and the totally immerse your client into the vision and into the experience that you're describing to them. Use your words and then use these pictures and videos, and together you're going to be able to this isn't Mitch and Vicky, but this is Jared and Dan, but you're going to be able to increase your sales. You're going to be able to use technology to prove and to explain what is sometimes the most difficult thing to explain to somebody, which is what you're going to feel, what you're going to experience. And if you pop those goggles on, if you sit down there for 3 minutes and talk to them about this is your room, and this is you know, a live view, a video that I took, you know, a 4-minute video or whatnot of uplighting, changing different colors, and she can look around and see, oh, I really love that purple uplighting, or I really love that blue uplighting, or whatever it might be. Boom! Now you can, if you were charging $700 for uplighting before, now might be a good time to start charging $1,000. Now is a good chance, because you've got them. You've got the sale. You've got it in your pocket. So now it's just about closing it and taking care of it. So there you go. I you know. I'm always more of a gadget guy. I'm always going to be more of that guy. But as far as gear goes, I really dig them. I dig those little things. And if anybody is watching from Eternal and they want to send me some, I'd be happy to take some 360 videos and send them your way, showing the introductions.
That'd be awesome.
I may have an inside track on this for you. Just we'll talk off camera at some point. We're gonna run out of time, so I'm just gonna let it go. You guys want to hear more about 2018? John, can we make this happen again?
Yep.
There we go.
We'll,
simple.
Next week, I think we'll try to see if we can do one more, because I think Shaney's going to join us. So we'll try, and for that one, we'll make sure that we have a pro version.
Yeah, sorry guys, I just logged in and ran with it.
That's kind of cool, though. It's telling us, we only have 2 minutes.
Well, I'm glad you got that. I don't have a countdown on mine, which you would think they would left that with the guy who set it up, but.
Well, now, it was counting down. Now it says less than a minute. So, oh goodness, it's going fast.
Yeah, it's weird. It says remaining meeting time 1 minute 45 seconds.
Where do you even see that?
It was.
I wonder if there's a way that you can make somebody the administrator or make them the host.
Yeah, he can change or make someone else the host. But I'm sure, because it's on a free account, and again, we just have to make sure we have logged in properly. It's a learning thing. Next week we'll have her down.
Well, we've got 1 minute and 24 seconds. I'm wondering if Joe or Gregory or Reverb or even Michael has anything they want to chime in down to the final 60 seconds.
I think we're going to be. Hey, Joe.
Hey.
Thanks for hanging out with us tonight.
Yeah, thank you guys. This was kind of cool. I know we kind of talked a lot, but hopefully you heard some stuff that you can take and run with.
2018 will be the year of software and apps.
I think apps is going to be a big thing, and I think you're going to see from the gear side of it, sound-wise, you're going to see more the line arrays. I know we've seen a lot of those, but you're going to see Generation 2 coming out. That's going to be a big thing this year.
What kind of apps, Michael? When you say apps?
The DJ side, what we see, Serato, Virtual, all of that is not going to be in app form, and people are going to be able to use those in full function for video and everything. And also the fact that there are 2 apps out there right now that have what they call AI mixing. So it makes it sound like a human being. It's not just bland matching. They have multiple ways you can set it up so that it alternates certain styles every so many songs and all that kind of stuff. Bland
matching. I don't think I've ever heard that, aside from my old DJ name, DJ Bland Match.
Yeah, it's bland matching is just